Dr. Bob Onder, Kurt Schaefer, or Justin Hicks? Who's going to fight for your gun rights in the United States Congress? Stay tuned, guys. We're breaking this race down for you right now. Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here with the Missouri Firearms Coalition. One of the biggest primaries in this cycle this year here in Missouri is the third congressional matchup between Dr. Bob Onder, Kurt Schaefer, and Justin Hicks. Everyone says they're pro-gun. Everyone says they're a champion. Everyone's flexing their various endorsements and stuff. The question is, who can we trust? Who can we count on to keep their promises in Washington, D.C.? It matters now in ways it hasn't mattered before. Right now in Washington, D.C., Joe Biden is pushing for H.R. 715, universal background checks to register every single gun owner in America. And you want to guess who the lead sponsor on that bill is? It's not a Democrat. It's not AOC. It's not even Cori Bush right here in Missouri. It's Republican, fake Republican, Brian Fitzpatrick from Pennsylvania. And so these days we have Republicans who campaign on our gun rights and literally sponsor gun control bills for the Biden White House in D.C. So what we have done here at MOFC for the last couple of months is compiled a lot of information about these three candidates to give you guys a thorough review of not just what these candidates say, but what they've actually done in office. They've all been in office. They all have a record, so we can know definitively what they've actually done when it comes to our gun rights. We're going to begin with Justin Hicks. The story here is a pretty short one. He's been in the Missouri State House for the last 2 years. He has done absolutely nothing to fight for the Second Amendment, refused to co-sponsor bills to ban red flag gun seizures, refused to co-sponsor bills to deal with enhancing stand your ground law. He's been a complete button pusher yes man for rhino leaders. No surprise to us, Hicks refused to fill out his Missouri Firearms Coalition candidate survey. We have no idea how Justin Hicks would act on legislation to abolish the ATF, repeal the National Firearms Act, let alone would he actually support gun control like Biden's push to pass a national red flag gun seizure law, or H.R. 715, as I mentioned, Biden's attempt to register every gun owner in the country. Justin Hicks, in his short 2 years, has been a very weak rhino in Jeff City, and we have grave concerns for his fidelity to the Second Amendment because he will not answer his gun rights candidate survey. It's always a bad sign. That brings up Kurt Schaefer. Kurt Schaefer is a much more robust candidate right now as opposed to Justin Hicks. And of course, he is loudly trumpeting his stance on the Second Amendment. Now, we'll give Kurt Schaefer credit. He did do the candidate survey 100%. We applaud anyone who surveys 100%. But this is not our first campaign cycle. And so what we are always looking for here at the Missouri Firearms Coalition is authenticity. Who can we trust, right? So when a candidate surveys pro-gun, that's the first thing we're looking for. Then we're trying to find other things that really give us a reason to trust in that candidate survey. When it comes to Kurt Schaefer, frankly, we've seen pretty much the opposite. Kurt Schaefer is all over on video. You can see it right now. He brags about being a moderate. He brags about being a centrist. He mocks conservatives who campaign on bold conservative ideas like the Second Amendment. And he's made it very clear his goal is to be the centrist moderate who can work with both sides. Now, I don't know about you, but right now, when it comes to our gun rights, we don't need people who will work with both sides to make deals to pass things like modified red flag gun seizures. We don't want people to work on both sides of the aisle with the rhinos and the Democrats to pass a scaled back version of H.R. 715. We don't want people to make deals to weaken our gun rights. We want people who will be ferocious champions to roll back the tyranny that Joe Biden has passed in Congress or mandated through executive orders. When it comes to Kurt Schaefer, he is very loudly making it clear he is going to be that hyper-moderate in D.C. who would work on both sides of the aisle when it comes to our gun rights. Very concerning stuff. And finally, we saw he was endorsed by the FOP, Fraternal Order of Police. Now, there may have been a day 20 years ago when that endorsement was a good thing. There may have been a day when the FOP stood for the Second Amendment, stood for freedom. But if there ever was a day like that, it's not now, and it hasn't been for the last 10 or 15 years here in Missouri. The FOP has opposed every expansion of gun rights here in Missouri for the last decade, from constitutional carry, Second Amendment Preservation Act, Stand Your Ground law, banning red flags. Almost every time the FOP has their lobbyists in Jeff City testifying against any effort to expand our gun rights. So there's a reason why they felt comfortable endorsing Kurt Schaefer, and that should be a very large concern to gun owners in the 3rd Congressional. So whereas Justin Hicks was a weak rhino, we have labeled Kurt Schaefer a big rhino because he's actively bragging about his intention to work both sides of the aisle when it comes to your gun rights. That brings up Dr. Bob Onder. Now, I have known Dr. Onder for a very long time because, of course, he was in the Missouri House for 2 years. He was in the Senate for 8 years. And I can tell you from my experience as MOFC's lobbyist in Jeff City that Bob Onder is one of the main reasons why Missouri has Stand Your Ground, constitutional carry, and the Second Amendment Preservation Act. Bob Onder fought both on the Senate floor and behind closed doors, battling his own rhinos in his own caucus to make sure these things happened. In the case of SEPA in 2021, that was a 7-hour debate. The Democrats maintained a 7-hour filibuster trying to force the Republicans to drop the bill. And it was Bob Onder on the floor almost the entire time, battling, fighting to pass Missouri's Second Amendment Preservation Act, which of course is the law that tells Joe Biden you can't use our cops here in Missouri to enforce federal gun control laws. So the actions of Bob Onder have been 100% ferociously pro-gun, so no surprise to us that Bob Onder has agreed with his candidate survey to fight for the entire gun rights agenda in Washington, D.C. Bob Onder has agreed to sponsor or co-sponsor bills like Matt Gaetz's effort to abolish the ATF. Everyone knows the ATF has become a complete rogue agency. It can't be fixed, it can't be reformed, it can't be saved. They're a threat to gun owners and innocent puppies everywhere, and it needs to be shut down, it needs to be abolished. Dr. Bob Onder agrees with that. We're proud to convey that to you guys. He's also willing to support Congressman Burleson's bill to repeal the National Firearms Act. If you're a gun owner, you know that the NFA has become kind of a catch-all for Joe Biden's agenda. So if Joe Biden wants to ban pistol braces, he opens up the suitcase of the National Firearms Act, he crams in pistol braces, closes the lid shut again, and then tells the ATF to make a new rule to make them illegal. If he wants to redefine what a firearms dealer is, he opens up the National Firearms Act, drops in the new definition, and tells the ATF to redefine a dealer. If he wants to ban bump stocks, same thing. Every unilateral executive order-based decision that Biden has carried out over the last couple of years has been by expanding the list of things that are controlled by the National Firearms Act. The NFA has got to go. Bob Onder agrees 100% and will support that bill in Congress. Everything we asked him, 100% opposed to red flags, opposed to universal background checks, opposed to the UN Small Arms Treaty. Dr. Bob Onder, 100% pro-gun with a 10-year-long record here in Jeff City to back that up. So guys, if you see Dr. Onder, thank him for his pro-gun survey, but more importantly, thank him for his 10 years of fighting to expand our gun rights. If you see Kurt Schaefer, you could thank him for his survey, but ask him, why are you bragging about making deals with the same people who want to destroy our right to keep and bear arms? Shameful stuff. And finally, if you see Justin Hicks, if he's still campaigning, ask this kid, why haven't you surveyed? Why haven't you co-sponsored gun bills in Jeff City? Where have you ever actually led in the fight for gun rights? Guys, that's our recap on this race. We have breakdowns on races all over the state, congressional races, lieutenant governor races, state house, Senate. Find all the information right now on our YouTube channel, Facebook page, go to Twitter, go to our website. There's a lot out there, guys. See it. Share it on social media, help us get the word out, and join the fight today, guys, at joinmofc.com. All All right.